Hi everybody, in this video we're going to be fitting this little booster plug to my Kawasaki Versys. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.
We're getting into the detail of it.
Right, let's get this fitted then. Hello YouTube. Right, today it's not cars, it's motorbikes. I've got a Kawasaki Versys 650, which is right here, which you'll see in a second. I'd just like to clear up first, I've done hundreds of miles on the bike. It's perfect in my mind, it's absolutely wonderful. What I'm trying to fix today isn't so much a problem as a very slight niggle with the fueling of the bike. So at motorway speeds, shutting the throttle down can be a little bit like chucking the anchors on. And it very slow maneuvers. You're either feathering your clutch or you're getting the bunny hops as you go along. This little booster plug addition to this bike solves all these issues, apparently. And again, issue, not really, it's not an issue. You can ride it accordingly. But to make it more idiot proof, I'm going to pop it on there and just see the difference, and I'll report on the difference once it's on. Now, I have no idea at all how to fit this. I've not watched any videos. I'm literally going to discover it as you're watching me discover it. So I'm going to show you the bike now and just start taking bits off until I find what I'm looking for. I'll show you the actual boost plug as well in a minute and describe how it's been described to me, how it's fitted. So here we go. Okay, well, here's the bike. That's the Ford console engine. Here's the motorbike in question. Like I say, I bought this bike a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. I've done, say, 400 or 500 miles on it. I adore it. It sits comfortably, it rides beautifully, it handles great. Honestly, this is probably, in my mind, the best all-round bike money can buy. It's so affordable. It's just brilliant. Look at the YouTube reviews of this bike, and, you know, it speaks for itself. Anyway, let's get going. I'm going to put this camera somewhere and just start working. Well, I guess as good a place to start as any is just getting the seat off, which is obviously no tools required. It's just done with the key. Get that out of the way and see what we're up against. Step one accomplished. Okay, I think the airbox is, yeah, it's going to be, because if you want to change the spark plugs or the air filter on one of these, you've got to take the fuel tank off. So I presume, let's have a look. Yeah, it's got to be in underneath the tank somewhere. So I'm going to start taking the plastics off the side here, maybe just take these two screws out and lift the tank to spy inside. See if it's doable without removing the tank. If it is, thumbs up. If it's not, we just have to rip it apart. Step two. Okay, that should free up the back half of the tank. I'm going to have to take this plastic off here. Aha, okay, and take this one off here. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this side without filming it, and when I go around the other side, I'll show you guys, you know, step by step. Okay, so the story so far, as you can see what I've taken off, it's just plastics. It's Allen screws. There's not many screws at all. Just a few there and a little pop off at the front of here. But the story so far, like I say, is if you see this lifting the tank, you can see all those plastics are flexing with the tank. So they've got to come out. I took this fastener out here, this one, a little plug in there, and this one down here. Then all of this whole side comes off and out the way. I'm doing this. I was just going to see if I could fit this plug without taking the tank off, but I want to look at my air filter, make sure that's, it was supposed to have been serviced, but none of this looks like it's ever been off. So I'm going to check my air filter and things like that while I'm in there. So I think I'll either lift the tank very high or I'll take it off entirely. But as usual with these things, one thing leads to another and you get further in than you intended. So yeah, I'll take that off and we'll have another look in a second. I didn't actually take that off at all the other side. I didn't know why I said that. There you are. Did take this one off though. I don't like pulling these things, but it is just a pull off panel. Oh, I hate doing that. I think as long as you pull evenly and straight, generally speaking, you don't break these little bumps. Because that'd be a pain in the ass. Might just screw that back in with a cut of thread so I know where it came from. Okay. This is a good excuse to check like the water and stuff at the same time, because all of the header tank is under here. So yeah, with all this off out the way, it makes maintenance a little bit nicer as well, and you can clean it up. Yes, then you do gather dirt up underneath these things. So. I think when the bike shop told me it had been serviced, I think probably they just meant oil and filter's been changed, to be fair. Because this definitely hasn't been off for a long time. Yeah, I do think I could probably fit that booster plug just by raising the tank and working in here. From what I can see, the plug's right here. I think this is the plug we're after in there. That looks like it goes into there. So I could just lift the back of the tank and fit that without too much issue. But I don't know how I then would run the sender or the sensor up to where I want it, which is up near a cold air feed. So I think taking all this off and at least lifting the tank up high, if not completely taking the tank off, is a better way of doing it. And again, if there's any other issues hiding away under here, I'll see them and deal with them now. So it might be worth doing. Right, I'll get the rest of this off. Like I said, it's just a little push clip in here. You push the back, oh, and out it comes, and then you separate it by pulling it. Oh, I'm making a cracking sound. Yeah, that's that. That's my point entirely. Look, the water is a little low, and that's with the bike upright as well. So it wants a little top up there. I say I've done 500 plus miles on it, and it's still well within the realms of plenty of water in it. So I don't think I've got any issues. But it just proves my point that I don't think the bike shop did take any of this off. It's all dirty as well. So they haven't serviced it as I would service a vehicle. Air filter, spark plugs, oil filter and oil. I think they've just done oil filter and oil. There you are. Okay, the best I can tell now is it's just a lift and a pull back, but these little plastic flaps here keep getting caught, so make sure they're off, otherwise you're going to break them. And of course there's going to be connections and there are fuel lines, etc. So if I can get it to a position where I can lift and have a look, should be able to detach anything there that needs to come apart. So I'm going to lift the back and pull off. Aha! Okay. Yes, I see. It's looking very easy to change the booster plug here, or fit the booster plug, but it's not looking particularly difficult to take the tank completely off. There's only a couple of wires there. I'll probably find the multi-plug for that. And this side, if I put the tank up on this rag, there, here it is. Okay, I got a multi-plug in here, which I'll pull apart now, and that seems to be the fuel pump or the fuel sender. if that pushes in. Right. Gonna need. Okay, as I thought, relatively easy, but I might just have pinched a wire. Better inspect that. So that's the fuel sender. Now I'm told when you disconnect the fuel pipe, it automatically shuts off a valve. So we shouldn't dump all of our fuel all over our frame. I've got a horrible little clip in here. Here we go. This red, can you see that? The red there. The red plastic's got to be pushed that away. Oop, that away. Which should release the pipe. I'm going to see if I can get my hand in and do that. I'm trying to do this and film. I don't know if I can push it. Aha! I can do it with my fingers. Okay, bit of a fiddle, but I think I can do it. Try your hardest not to break this, because I mean Kawasaki are very good at getting parts, but things like this, you got no hope. Okay, so you can see the red plastic is now out. I think it needs to go a little more because it's still interference light. Ah, there it is. Yeah, it does go back into like a rested position. So in theory, I should now be able to push the fuel pipe. Sorry about this filming. I'm going to push here on the angle, on the right angle. Hopefully it'll come flying apart with no issues and not drop any fuel. But I'm going to have to put you down to do that. Okay, the pipe came off very easily. No fuel dropped out. So I believe all I got now, connecting this tank, oh, sorry again about the filming, is the breathers. Yeah, I think the breathers. That pipe is very long, it just goes and dangles down here. So I'll just pull this out and leave the breathers attached to the tank. It's good to film it so I can remember the route. It goes through that clip. There, through there, and down through this little thing down here. So I'll just pull that up. That's not attached to it, that's good. So yeah, that's dead easy. I do believe now the tank is ready to lift off. You can all laugh at me now when I snap something highly important. Trying to get this bloody phone to stand up is a nightmare. I need to do some editing here, aren't I? Hey. Right, stay there. Something's been forgotten. Okay, there we go. One versus tank off. This is great because I am now going to get my air filter out and have a good look. I might even get the plugs out and inspect them. Am I zoomed in? Ah, no wonder. But this is the thing we got to interrupt. This has to come off and plug into the new boost valve thing. But I'm going to hang on. I'm going to get this air box open and have a look at the state of my filter and clean up all this mess. It looks like rust, it's not, it's just dirt. And those are the rubber bungs that the tank hooks into. Don't know what this is. It looks like aftermarket, but it's not. Make sure we don't trap any of this when we put it all back together, I guess. Yeah, just to recap, you can definitely fit this booster plug without taking the tank off completely. But at that stage where you've come so far, you're down to 2 connectors, and it's almost folly not to just take the tank off. It makes it so much easier. It's so much less of a fiddle. I would probably recommend taking the tank off, but don't be frightened. It's an easy job as long as you take your time. And look how all of this is quite plasticky, brittle stuff. Just be careful with everything and you should be fine. Particularly the fuel pipe itself. Make sure that that red plastic collar is right back, otherwise you could come into trouble there. And don't use any more than just your fingers to press that pipe off. It might be a bit stiff, but if you try and push any tools or lever it, you're going to snap it. So be a little bit careful with that. Other than that, it's definitely a DIY job. It's nothing complicated at all. Which leads me on to the actual boost plug. A little bit of rust there where it's been rubbing. I'm going to I'm going to address that now. I did discover just where the tank sits on here, it's just wore through the paint slightly, so it's got a little bit rusty. I have wire brushed it, and I'm going to chuck a little bit of that on, K-rust or crust. That converts rust to a paintable surface, and then I'll just quickly zip it with a little bit of gloss black just to protect it for future. I don't want rust getting into my frame. Very simple repair. Now the tank's off, as I say, so it is really worthwhile taking the tank off, I would say. Right, so here's what I received. I bought it from eBay, Biker Bits or something. I'll leave a link in the description. This comes from boostplug.com or whatever it's called. It turned up really quickly. It was a decent price. It comes with some fairly, well, it depends how you think about it, fairly basic instructions. This is the item. It comes with a couple of stickers and a key ring. I mean, you couldn't ask for much more. Even my dog was impressed. No, he wouldn't. Right, I'll unpack this now and we'll lay it out on the bike, see where best to plumb it in. They do give suggestions, by the way, in the instructions where to put it, but I don't know that it makes that much sense specifically to this bike. Anyhow, let's go and whack it on and see what happens. That's better. All right, there it is. Cool. And I've dropped it already. Right, there's the actual sensor probe or temperature probe. That's got to go quite far forward where it's getting a cool, fresh air. And I'm not sure which one of these goes to which one, but we are about to find out. All right. So I'm going to say the longer one on the longer wire definitely matches what was plugged into here. So that has got to go in there. Now, I don't know why this is so long. Presumably that just goes in there, like that. I do believe that is, for all intents and purposes, that is that unit fitted. Could it be that easy? Okay, now this, I don't know where I'm going to route it actually. They say put it near the intake, which is, there's, I don't know if you can see them, there's two holes down in there. I'll use that to point right here. 1, 2, those are the two, oh, you can see that one better. The two air intakes. So I guess the bike's flow of air would come pretty much directly into those. So if we could have that near there, they'd be picking up some nice cool air. It does say not near the radiator. Well, the radiator on these is, yeah, pretty much straight in front of them actually. I wonder if that directs the air, might direct the air in from the side there when that's all on. It says keep them away from the radiator, but presumably they're going to have to go fairly near the radiator in order to get a decent flow of air. Unless I put them like right there at the front. There. Yes. Okay, here's the headstock. I got two cables running through here. I think probably, I don't know, clutch or brake cables or throttle. I don't know what the hell they are. But there's a big metal clip here. This one here is my temperature sensor. Now, it's ahead of the radiator when it's in this position. It's getting a direct flow of cold air. And from what I can see, it's not too dirty in there. So it's not getting absolutely mired. So I think it's going to stay there. Again, I don't think it's particularly critical as long as it's not near a heat source. But I like this. I like it here because, like I say, all those reasons. I might even tuck it in between the two wires there. And they'll serve as a bit of a aid to locking it in place. There you are. It's almost made to measure. Right, that's where mine's going to go. One thing I will do before I commit completely is just make sure steering both ways. Oops. Okay, full lock that way and full lock the other way. does not interfere with it. So yeah, that's good. That can stay there. So there we are. It's done. It's plugged in here. It's plugged in here. I've tucked it up here. I don't know if the tank's going to interfere with that yet, but I'm going to take a chance. I've cable tied it into the main loom here and here. I'm going to try and get some, or one cable tie here. Oops, here. And then I'm going to rely on these two cables. I think they're throttle cables, just to squeeze between them there. Nothing's moved out of place, and as you can see, my sensor is just there, directly in line for some nice cool air, and quite a way away from the radiator. I would say that's, what's that, 6 inches above the radiator, and miles away from the cylinder head, which is in there. So those are the two things they say keep it away from. In fact, their only real, rules are stay away from the radiator and stay away from the cylinder head, basically because they're two big heat sources, and they like a fresh flow of air over it, which it's going to have there. So I think, provided the tank goes on without interfering here, I think that's a bit of a result and a very easy fix. Well, that's it. I've done a little bit of a touch up on the tiny bit of rust that was on the frame there. It's nothing heavy. All that remains is to chuck the tank back on. We're going to do that really carefully. I'm going to lower it down, put it into the front things, sit it up on something here to plumb it in, and then take the thing away and lower it down gently. I don't want to crush anything. I want to make sure this is going to clear. I might have to reroute that, but hopefully not. Yeah, I'll top up my water while it's apart. It's nice and easy now. And that's it. I just a reverse of taking it apart, really, bung it all back together. I've super glued one of these on that has been broken since I bought it. So I'm quite pleased I've repaired that little job. And that's it. It will be back together shortly, as if by magic. Ta-da! Okay, so that's it, back together. I haven't started it yet. Full disclosure, I did put it all back together and forget to connect the fuel line. So that was a bit of a balls up. So it's been back on and off and on again since last time I spoke to you. Anyway, we're back together now. I'll just give it a quick start up. Hopefully it'll all leap into life. And the fuel pump ran. And here we go. Obviously it's got to drop some fuel in a minute. Well, it runs. I'll get out on the road in a minute and ride it around and see what kind of difference that's made. I'm going to try and switch over to the GoPro and film me riding. I don't know if that'll work or not. Never done it before. It's night and day. I'm so pleased. It's worth every penny. I'll talk to you when I get back. Well, that's it, guys. I'm back. It was a nice little, probably 45-minute ride. Where did I notice the most difference? Didn't really get up to motorway speeds, but the choppiness of the deceleration has gone away. It's just gone away. It's not there anymore. You still get ample engine braking, but without sliding you forward in the seat, which is, you tend to slide forward in a Kawasaki Versys seat anyway. But it's the low speed maneuvers it's transformed. It's like being on the little MT-07 that I learnt on, did my test on. The fueling's much nicer on those, and it reminded me of that. Again, first gear, really slow, down to 5 to 10 miles an hour. There was no way you could maneuver that bike just with the throttle before I fitted this booster plug, and now it is totally doable. It's lovely. Yeah, it's transformed it. Also, I know it's coming up over. I live at the top. We're out in the sticks. So we've got a lot of country lanes, and we're up a long steep hill. And I'm normally messing around through the gears, down, up, down, up. I stayed in third gear, right down to crawling speed, and then as the obstruction got out of the way, I just rolled on the power. It's genuinely just transformed that bike. I'm not being sponsored by anyone. There's no reason for me to say this unless it's true. That little booster plug is worth every penny. I'm really pleased. And honestly, I can't wait to get out and have another go. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this is helpful to you. see you next time. Hopefully I'll get back to some of my car projects. I know a lot of you are waiting for them. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. Cheers.